Money to me was an answer to almost everything. It was empowerment. It definitely took the worry out of life. When you're raised in a family that doesn't have extra money for anything, it sometimes creates a desire that when you get working, you will make sure that you never have a lack of anything. Instead of depending on God to supply your need, you just become that person who wants to succeed no matter what. I figured that if God gave me a brain, I should be able to figure out a way to afford anything I wanted. That was me. I found out about 3 years into construction that I was the type of person that did not like taking orders from someone else, even if they were the nicest boss around. So I ended up starting my own business. The first major debt I had outside of a mortgage was I put approximately $5,000 worth of renovations on a credit card. That $5,000 turned into 10, then 15. By the time I sold my first house, it was at $40,000. And the $40,000 turned into $60,000, then $80,000 before I knew it, added to the other debts that I had. When my wife found out about my debt, I was sitting in my office. She had just picked up the mail and she pretty much opened all the credit card statements at once. And she had no idea. It was the tip of the iceberg for her. So she came in and said, "I know things are tight. Why are all these balances up to the max?" On one hand, I was terrified of her reaction. On the other hand, I felt a sense of relief that she finally knew. Watching her melt down was one of the hardest things I've ever watched. I thought I was hiding things for her benefit. When I came to realize that I had actually done way more damage by hiding it from her than if I had let her know, then it really bothered me. And it was only then that I started really asking for her forgiveness. One of the other things that God showed me during this journey of getting out of debt was I thought that the noble thing to do was to pay off my debts and take care of my family first. But God showed me through the process that I had to start giving more to church. I had to start giving to other people. I had to start giving my time. And in a time when it did not even seem right, I had a chance to go on a mission trip. And being a pastor's kid, I should have probably went on one when I was young or years ago, but it just never happened. And all of a sudden, I find myself in Mexico building a house for people that we lived in wouldn't be even called a shack. But that changed, that opened my eyes. It let me know that no matter how big a problem I had in Canada, no matter how much debt I had, I was still living in a $200,000 house. I was still had food on my table. Even at my worst situation with all my debt, I had clothes to wear. All my kids had everything they needed. We live in a blessed country. But when you go to another country and you see that people have nothing, and they seem to be happier than the people here that have everything, it opened my eyes. And I decided at that moment that we were going to go to Mexico as much as we could. We were going to give as much as we could. And it didn't matter because the Bible says if you give to the poor, you loan to God, and God is no man's debtor. Debt and the love of money. Debt itself is a curse. It's a curse, and it prohibits you from doing so many things for God in your life. Until you get out from underneath the weight of debt and the pursuit and love of money, you'll never fully flourish as a Christian and do what God's will for you is.